A couple of years ago, David Florig decided he wanted to write a novel, but he wasn't quite sure what story he wanted to tell. Eventually, he got an idea. He wanted to write, in part, about the sport of curling. His new novel is called The Stones of Ilse Craig, and David Florig is with us here on 207. Thanks for coming in. It's good to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
So, this is kind of unexplored territory in the world of fiction, a novel that is in part about the sport of curling. Why was that your choice?
I wanted to tell a story and really didn't have an idea as to what to do. My wife said, well, why don't you write about what you love, and that is curling. And hence, The Stones of Ilse Craig was born.
Curling is a sport that is known in Maine, but even in Maine, it's a niche sport. For most of us, we only pay attention to it when the Winter Olympics come around. Did you think that this is a story that would really reach a broad audience, or did you really not care that much about that?
As an independent author, you don't set out to make money. Yeah. So the audience wasn't that important to me. Telling the story was. And curling being such a niche sport, but also such a wonderful sport that a lot of people get enchanted by during the Olympics, I decided to write a story centered around curling, but really it's a mystery in plain sight.
And it moves around. Part of it takes place in contemporary Belfast, Maine, but then it also leaps back in time to Scotland in the 1890s. And the Scottish connection is important because you brought in a curling stone, and the rock that this is made of comes from where?
It comes from the island of Ilse Craig, which is a volcanic island. One of the volcanoes that exploded at the end of Pangaea and broke North America and Europe apart. And it is the only place where great curling stone granite comes from.
This thing is heavier than one might think. It weighs how much?
40 pounds.
And just as smooth as can be.
It's handmade, hand polished in Scotland.
And you also brought in a curling broom. It's called a broom, right?
It's called a broom or a brush.
A brush, and this is what we see again in the Olympics. We see the people madly touching up the ice as the stone slides across the ice. Did you worry that this was going to be, I was going to say too inside baseball, but the term would be too inside curling? How did you balance telling a compelling story with working in some of the background of curling?
Well, one of my other loves besides curling is Maine. And it's kind of an homage to the great state of Maine and the mid-coast. Maine residents and visitors will recognize many of the places in the story. The Rockland Breakwater, Owl's Head, Light Station, Mount Batty,
restaurants in Portland. There's a lot of local color in this book.
Yes.
You say that you're a writer who sometimes writes 2 sentences a day, sometimes 2 pages or more a day. Was it fun for you to write this book?
It was fun writing. It was not as much fun editing, looking for every misplaced comma and typo. But writing, to anyone who has tried it, is simply a labor of love.
Which do you enjoy more? Curling, which you do at a club in Portland, or writing?
Curling, by far.
You do curling from the fall to the spring, a couple nights a week.
Yes, at the Pine Tree Curling Club, for those who are interested. Curls at the Trobe Arena near the Sea Dogs Stadium. We run from about October to May. People are welcome to go to the website for the club, and they can come out and learn to curl. We teach people, we have all the equipment, and people everybody's laughing and smiling.
And of course, there's also a really active, the most famous, the best known curling club in Maine is in Belfast, and again, part of the story takes place in Belfast. The foreword to the book was written by a member of the U.S. Olympic curling team in 2022. What has been the response from people in the curling community to this book?
They have been absolutely fantastic. Tara Peterson, who wrote the foreword, was on Team USA in the last Olympics and is hoping to get back in 2026. I reached out to a few curlers, Eve Muirhead, who won the gold medal last time, asked them if they'd take a look at the book and maybe write a word of endorsement. They did. They loved it. Tara said she would write the foreword, and I wasn't going to turn her down.
No, that's pretty cool. David Florig, thanks for coming in. Again, the name of the book is The Stones of Ilse Craig. We've got more information on the book and the author in the 207 section of our website or app. Stick around, we're going to return right after this.